Recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, Dr. DesJarlais.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the panel being here for this timely hearing on the oversight of U.S. military support to Ukraine. Mr. Storch, can you tell us roughly how much money has been given total to the Ukraine war effort since we began last year?
Well, it depends a little bit how you count it, but I believe it's over $113 billion approximately.
How much is that for lethal aid or what we'd consider standard military equipment?
I'm afraid I don't have that number at my fingertips.
So not a breakdown, roughly 60-40, 20-80 in terms of what's going to the government, what's going to military aid?
There's security assistance, there's economic assistance, there's humanitarian assistance. The numbers are in the JSOP, but it's approximately, I think, a little over 60% of it is the military assistance.
Okay, and I ask this question because whether our constituencies back home are for or against this war, they don't have the benefit of the hearings that we have, the classified briefings that we have, and so we want to know that we can tell the taxpayers that our money is being spent wisely. And this hearing today is coming on the heels of a CIGAR report released this week titled "Why the Afghan Security Forces Collapsed," in which the Special Inspector General reports, among other things, that rampant corruption gradually eroded the capabilities of the Afghan National Defense and Security Forces, as well as the legitimacy of the Afghan government. So we need to make sure we don't make those same mistakes in Ukraine. And a month ago, John Kirby claimed from the administration that he has not seen any signs so far that our budgetary assistance has fallen prey to any kind of corruption. Would you agree with that statement?
So on the issue of corruption, one of the reasons we do all these reviews is to ensure the integrity of the systems in place and that controls are there so to help to prevent it from corruption. And then, as I mentioned, we have DCIS that's there to investigate any allegations that might arise. With regard to the Afghanistan report, I'd just say I'm aware that's been issued. Our folks are looking at that. But it's obviously a very different situation in Ukraine, very different mission. In Ukraine, there aren't large numbers of troops on the ground. It's not building the military from the ground up. It's primarily a train and supply mission, something our office is very well equipped to oversee.
Right. And the Inspector General went on to say in his report that the United States played into the hands of political leaders and contributed to their corruption by spending money faster than it can be accounted for. So I think when we say we've spent roughly $100 billion, we ought to break that down and have a clear message from DOD, and we've had hearings where we've suggested that to keep the public on board. I understand what the strategy is and what the benefit is, but we want to make sure the people back home get this. And it didn't help last year, for example, in a briefing, unnamed senior official said that there was about 100 kamikaze Switchblade drones provided to Ukraine, that they couldn't tell where they were, who was using them, and didn't know if they'd ever know exactly where they come from or where they would be used at. And so those type of statements aren't helpful. But I think that you'd mentioned earlier that we have a proven model, and maybe you can elaborate and make us feel a little bit better that this proven model that you're referencing has worked somewhere else, and that we're accounting for the equipment that we're sending.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We do have a proven model, I believe, using the lead IG model that's been used in overseas contingency operations, showing how we can work together as an oversight community to provide comprehensive oversight. So we currently are engaged, for instance, on oversight over the Operation Enduring Sentinel mission, the over-the-horizon counterterrorism mission that's followed on in Afghanistan. And we have a number of projects at DOD, OIG related to that. We're also coordinating with our partners. We report out quarterly in public reports on our work in that area. It's obviously an area where we've done a lot of other work as well. But the point of it is, with Ukraine, we have not just the three of us, but actually 20 different oversight entities, including GAO, including all the military audit agencies, and all the rest working together to ensure that there aren't any gaps, that we're covering the waterfront and all types of assistance, security, economic, humanitarian, other assistance, that we're doing oversight over all of it, so the American public knows that the taxpayer dollars are being spent.
Is there a specific example, like loss reports is due within a specific time, say 30 days, or a condition that they give us 100% accuracy on inventory, or is there anything in place that would make more clarity? Because it seems like we all say that this is accounted for, but yet there's a lot of disparity when we ask for specific examples of how we know this equipment's accounted for.
So we're doing a robust series of oversight projects to ensure the accountability of equipment from the very beginning until it gets into Ukraine. And then once it's in Ukraine, we're doing continued work in that critical area I mentioned.
Gentleman's time's expired.
EUM,
Chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.